Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as you can see here, that basically in this lecture we are going to start with the Indian geography, okay? And that is going to be our part 1. Like in the previous two lectures, we have taken the discussion over the geography. And now we are going to talk about specifically Indian geography. All right? So, the geography and the Indian geography are different topics from the competitive exams point of view. Okay. In geography, we talk about each and everything that existed within the purview of the term geography. In Indian geography, we specifically revolve around the geographical things that matters or that belongs to India only. Okay. So here we have the small disclaimer. The images used in our slide deck are for the educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and the owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck, have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So, these are the topics that we had scheduled for the discussion under this particular part of the Indian geography, like the introduction part, thereafter, the physical features of India, thereafter, the drainage system of India, thereafter, the climate and seasons of India, thereafter, the forest in India, the soils in India, and at last, biodiversity of India. So, these are the topics that we had scheduled for the discussion. Let's start with the first, that is the introduction. So, now we are going to take the introduction of the Indian geography. So, the first point that we have here is that India is the 7th largest country in the world with an area of 32,87,263 square kilometers. Okay, and this area in percentage wise is 2.42% of the world's area. Apart from the landmass, India is also the second most populous country in the world with a population of 1.21 billions as per the 2011 census. And if we go percentage wise, then this is the 17.44% of the world's population. Okay. Thereafter, Indian subcontinent, if we talk about this, is located in northern and eastern hemisphere. Okay, or totally we can say that the Indian subcontinent is located in northeastern hemisphere of the earth. India is surrounded by China, Nepal, Bhutan in the north, as you can see China, Nepal and Bhutan. Myanmar, Bangladesh and east. Myanmar and Bangladesh in east. Sri Lanka in the south. Here you can see the Sri Lanka. And Pakistan in the west. Here you can see the Pakistan. In the south, the Gulf of Mannar and Palk Strait separate India from Sri Lanka. These two lies here. Three oceans protect India's half of the boundary. Like in east, Bay of Bengal is there. In south, here Indian Ocean is there. And in west, Arabian Sea is there. The 82 degree 30 minutes east is a longitude that has been taken as a standard time meridian of India. Therefore, the Indian Standard Time IST, as it passes through the middle of India, it passes from here. Okay. The Tropic of Cancer 23.5 degree north. Here you can see it. This is the line represents the Tropic of Cancer. Passes through the 8 states: Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura, and Mizoram. In the Indian subcontinent, India is the only country to share its land frontiers with every members of the subcontinent. Here, remember, when we talk about India, basically we are talking about the Indian country only. But when we talk about Indian subcontinent, we talk about Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. Okay, so Indian subcontinent having the 5 countries where India is the part of it. Okay, here if we talk about some basic information of Indian geography, latitudinal extent, if we're talking about, okay, then this is the one. Okay, just correct it. It should be the longitudinal extent and that should be the latitudinal extent. Okay, these both get interconnected. Please check it. Longitudinal wise, India is extend from 8th degree 4 minutes to 37 degree 6 minutes. Whereas latitudinal wise, India extend from 68 degree 7 minutes to 97 degree 25 minutes. Okay. North-south extent is 3,214 kilometers. East-west extent is 2,933 kilometers. Land frontiers are almost about 15,200 kilometers. Total coastline of India from here and here, okay, that is nearly about 7,516.6 kilometers. India having 29 number of states and 7 union territories. Land neighbors, if we talk about Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. A state with longest coastline, Gujarat. Active volcano of India is Barren Island that lies in Andaman Nicobar Islands. Southernmost point of India is Indira Point or Pygmalion Point that lies in Great Nicobar. Southernmost tip of mainland means this. This is the Kanyakumari. Northernmost point Indrakul, Siachen. Westernmost point Gormoti in Gujarat. Easternmost point Kibitu in Arunachal Pradesh. Thereafter, Indian state situated on the border. Pakistan connects the border with Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir. Afghanistan connects the border with only Jammu and Kashmir. China connects border with Ladakh, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. Nepal connects the border with Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, West Bengal, and Sikkim. Bhutan connects the border with Sikkim, West Bengal, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. Bangladesh connects the border with West Bengal, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Okay. So after finishing the basic introduction of Indian geography, now we have to move towards the physical features of India. Okay. Physical features are also similar to the landforms that we have in this country or that we have in this piece of land that is known as India and which is our country. Okay. So basically India has been divided into the 5 parts on the basis of physical division. Like the first is Himalayan range of mountains, Peninsular Plateau, Great Indian Plains, Coastal Plains, Indian Islands, and the Indian Desert. Okay. The Himalaya means abode of snow. Why? because these mountains throughout the year remains under the heavy snowfall because of their location. And these are also the youngest fold mountains in the world. And here in this, you can see this is the Himalayas, then Nepal starts here, Bhutan starts here, and this is the Himalayas within the Indian boundary. Okay, stretch from the Indus River in the west to the Brahmaputra River in the east consists of the three parallel ranges such as Himadri, Greater Himalayas, Himachal, Lesser Himalayas, Shivalik, Outer Himalayas. Okay, so these all are the Himalayan ranges and they remains parallel to each other. Major mountain peaks in India we talk about. Highest peak is Mount K2. Height is 8,611 meters. That lies in Pak occupied Kashmir, India. Kanchenjunga, 8,586 meters of height, lies in state of Sikkim. Nanda Devi, 7,817 meters of height, lies in Uttarakhand. Saltoro, 7,742 meters of height, lies in Jammu and Kashmir. Kangto, 7,090 meters of height, lies in Arunachal Pradesh. Rio Purgil, 6,816 meters of height, lies in Himachal Pradesh. Saramati, 3,841 meters of height, lies in Nagaland. Sandakphu, 3,636 meters of height, lies in West Bengal. Khayang, 3,114 meters of height, lies in state of Manipur. Annaimudi, 2,695 meters of height, and this lies in the state of Kerala. Doda Beta, 2,636 meters of height, and that lies in state of Tamil Nadu. Okay. After this, after the major peaks, now we have the important passes. What do you mean by the passes? Basically, suppose you can say there are the two mountains. Okay. In these two mountains, there is a way in middle of this. And this way is known as the passes. Okay. So, the important passes that found in the Himalayan regions of India. Okay. These passes are following. And the pass, as I've told you, is a route through a mountain range over a ridge. So the important passes that found in Himalayas are, first is Karakoram Pass, that is located in Jammu and Kashmir, and that provide connectivity of India to China. Burzil Pass again lies in Jammu and Kashmir, and that connects Kashmir Valley to Central Asia. After this, Jozila Pass. Location is Jammu and Kashmir, provides connectivity to Srinagar to Leh. After this, Shipkila Pass. Location is Himachal Pradesh, provides connectivity to Shimla to Gatok. Gatok is Tibet. Do not confuse it with Gangtok. Okay, Gatok is different from Gangtok. Gangtok is a capital of Sikkim, and Gatok basically a place in Tibet, and Tibet is a part of China right now. After this, The Jhelapla Pass, location is Sikkim, provides connectivity to Kalimpong, West Bengal to Lhasa, Tibet. Okay, now you can say this is the Jhelapla, this is West Bengal, and this is the area of Bhutan and Tibet. Pir Panjal Pass, that lies in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, and provides connectivity Jammu to Srinagar through a road passes. Okay, Banihal Pass, Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, provides the connectivity from Jammu Srinagar. NH1A passes from this pass. Okay, Rohtang Pass, very very famous pass in Himachal Pradesh, provides the connectivity to Kullu Keling road passes from this pass. Okay, and Rohtang Pass is also very very important because of the origin of two main rivers like the Beas River and the second river was Ravi. They both originated near to this pass. After this, the next point that we have here is that to the south of the Himalayas and to the north of the peninsula, where we have the Great Plains of North India. Okay, the yellow portion that you are seeing here, it is the Great Plains. Okay, these plains are formed by the depositional work of the three major rivers named as the Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. The vast plains of North India, alluvial in nature, and the westernmost portion is occupied by the desert. Here, Rajasthan. Okay, these plains are made up of Bhangar, old alluvium, Khadar, new alluvium in riverbed. Bhabar is a porous gravel ridden plains at the foothills of Shivalik, and the streams generally disappear here. The Indian plains divided into the four major plains, therefore, the Punjab Haryana plain, the Rajasthan plain, the Ganga plain, and the Brahmaputra plain. Okay. The deserts that we found in the western part of India, these are known as the hot desert, and locally we call it as a Thar desert. The cold desert that found in India lies at the northeastern part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Rising from the height of 150 meter above the river plains up to an elevation of 6 to 1000 meters in the irregular triangle, this is known as the Peninsular Plateau. Here you can see it. This light green is an Peninsular Plateau. Some of the other Indian plateaus are Central Highland, Deccan Plateau, Meghalayan Plateau, Bundelkhand Upland, Marwar Upland, and the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay. Another important features of India are the coastal plains, which are divided into the eastern coastal plain and the western coastal plains. If we talk about the Indian coastal plains in the eastern direction, these extend from the Datic plains of the Ganga in north and runs up to the Kanyakumari in the south. Includes the Atkal plains, Andhra coastal plains, and the Coromandel coast. The western coastal plain is about 1500 kilometers long from Surat to Cape Comorin. The plain is subdivided into several parts like the Kutch Plains, Kathiawar Plains, गुजरात प्लेन्स, कोंकण कोस्ट, कर्नाटका और कनारा कोस्ट, मालाबार कोस्ट और केरला कोस्ट. The islands are another important physical features of India. Why? Because India has large number of islands, most of which are located in the two groups. Therefore, one group is the Andaman Nicobar Islands found in Bay of Bengal. Second is the Lakshadweep group found in Arabian Sea. This group of island is oftenly called as archipelago. Andaman and Nicobar Islands lies in the Bay of Bengal, and there are total 203 islands in Andaman group, where there are 7 big and 12 small islands in the Nicobar group. 10-degree channel separates the Andaman group from the Nicobar group, and Duncan Passage lies between the South Andaman and the Little Andaman group. Lakshadweep Island, located in Arabian Sea. Minicoy is the second largest and southernmost island of this group. Minicoy is separated from rest of the Lakshadweep through the 9-degree channel. 8-degree channel basically separates the Lakshadweep group from the Maldives. Okay. Thereafter, Indian rivers, if we talk about it in the series of drainage system of India, then basically we can say that Indian rivers that flow within this country could be divided into the two main groups. These groups are named as Himalayan rivers, and second group is known as peninsular rivers. The first, Himalayan rivers, these are perennial rivers. Perennial means throughout the year they having the water in their way, and these generally having a large basin. They are divided into the 3 river system: Indus system, Ganga system, Brahmaputra system. Indus is the westernmost of Himalayan rivers in India, and that basically originates from a glacier that is in the Tibetan region near the Mansarovar lake. Okay. And if we talk about the important rivers of the Indus river system, then first is Indus near Mansarovar lake at the height of 2880 meters, and this river falls into the Arabian Sea. Jhelum, Verinag, about an height of 7724 meters, this falls into the river Chenab. Chenab, source is Baralachala Pass, length is 1180 meters, falls in Indus. Ravi, near Rohtang Pass, length is 725 meters, falls into Chenab. Beas, near Rohtang Pass, length is 460 kilometers, falls into Satluj river. Satluj originates from Mansarovar Rakas lake at the height of 1450 meters and falls into the river Chenab. Thereafter, we have the Ganga river system. This is the second major drainage system of India. The Ganga river rises from Gangotri glacier near Garmukh in Uttarakhand. Here, it's named as Bhagirathi. Bhagirathi basically meets Alaknanda river at the place called Devrayag, and from here that is known as the Ganga river. Okay. If we talk about the important rivers of the Ganga river system, first is the Ganga, originates from Gangotri glacier, length is 2525 meters. Yamuna originates from Yamunotri glacier, 1376 kilometers. Chambal near Mau 960 kilometers. Ghagra near Gurla Mandhata Peak south of Mansarovar 1080 meters. Son from Amarkantak Plateau, length is 780 kilometers. Damodar from Chota Nagpur Plateau, length is 541 kilometers. Gandak from Tibet Nepal border, length is 425 kilometers in Indian side. Kosi from Sikkim Nepal Tibet Himalayas, length is 730 meters in 730 kilometers in Indian side. After them, there is a Brahmaputra river. It is one of the largest river of the world, known as Tsangpo in Tibet, Diang or Siang in Arunachal Pradesh, and Brahmaputra in Assam, and Jamuna in Bangladesh. The Brahmaputra forms the largest number of river and islands, and Majoli is the largest river and islands in the world. The peninsular river system could be divided into the east flowing rivers and the west flowing rivers further. The east flowing rivers form delta, whereas the west flowing rivers do not form any delta. If we talk about the east flowing rivers in India, then Mahanadi originates from the north foothills of Dandakaranya. Length is 857 kilometers. Tributaries are Sionath, Hasdeo, Ibant, Tel, and Ong. Godavari originates from Trimbakan Plateau of North Sayadri near Nasik. Length is 1465. This is the longest river of peninsular India. Tributaries are Penganga, Vardha, Venganga, Indravati, Sabri, or Manzira. Krishna River, north of Mahabaleshwar in the Western Ghat. Length is 1400 kilometers. Tributaries are Bhima, Tungbhadra, Ghatprabha, Malaprabha, and Koena. Kaveri, Brahmagiri range in Western Ghat. Length is 800 kilometers. Tributaries are Himavati, Akravati, Kabani, Bhavani, or Amravati. Thereafter, the west flowing rivers. First is Sabarmati. Source is Mewar region in Aravalli range. Length is 371 meters. Tributaries are Hatmati, Sedi, Vakul. Mahi river rises from Vindhyan range. Length is 583 kilometers. Tributaries are Som, Anas, Panam. Narmada, this is the largest flowing river in the western side in peninsular India. Source is Amarkantak Plateau. Length is 1312 meters. Tributaries are Hiran, Tawa, Banjar, Sahar, Shakar, and Burhanar. Tapi river rises from Multai on the Satpura range. Length is 724 kilometers. And tributaries are Purna, Betul, Arunavati. Luni river, this is the salt river, rises from the Aravallis. Length is 495 kilometers. Tributaries are Jovai, Sukri, or Jojari. After this, now we have the climate and seasons of India. So India has a tropical monsoon type of climate, which is greatly influenced by the presence of Himalayas in north, because the Himalayas block the cold masses from the Central Asia. The Tropic of Cancer divided India into the two almost equal climatic zones. Like the northern zone is known as the subtropic and southern zone known as the tropic. Indian climate is characterized by the distinct seasonality. Like Indian Meteorological Department IMD has recognized 4 distinct seasons. These seasons are: first is winter season, period is November to March. Precipitation cause rainfall in sub-Himalayan belt by western disturbances. Features clear sky, low temperature, high humidity range of temperature. Thereafter, summer, pre-monsoon season. Period is March to June. Only rainfall of total Indian rainfall mostly by storms by convective current. Features are dry seasons, high temperature and low humidity. Season rainy. Period June to September. Precipitation is rainfall through southwest monsoon. Features are high heat, high humidity, extensive cloud, and several spells of moderate to heavy rainfall. Cool reason. Mid-September to November. Retracting monsoon causes rainfall in Tamil Nadu and adjoining areas of Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. Features are no cloud, severe and devastating tropical cyclone and clear sky. Thereafter, we have the forest in India. According to the state records, the forest area covers 23.28% of the total land area of the country. Madhya Pradesh has the largest area under the forest, followed by the Arunachal Pradesh. The lowest forest percentage is in Haryana and Punjab because of the extensive agriculture. If we talk about the types of forests in India, the first is tropical evergreen forest, rainy slope of Western Ghat, Northeast India, not found in Arunachal Pradesh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Climatic conditions, rainfall is more than 200 centimeters, relative humidity is more than 70%, average temperature is about 24 degrees Celsius, hot and humid climate. Characteristics, trees height reach up to 40 to 60 meters, leaves are dark green and broad. Tropical most deciduous forest. Found in eastern part of Sahyadri, Western Ghats, northern eastern part of Peninsula, middle and lower Ganga Valley, foothills of Himalayas in Babar and Trai region. Climatic condition, 100 to 200 centimeters of rainfall per annum, moderate temperature. Characteristics, 30 to 40 meters of height of trees due to deficiency of water, shade their leaves in spring on the onset of summer. Tropical deciduous forest, found in large parts of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, parts of Punjab, Haryana and eastern parts of Rajasthan, north and western parts of Madhya Pradesh. Climatic conditions are 50 to 100 centimeters rainfall with the moderate humidity. Characteristics, 6 to 15 meter high roots are thick and long. Dry forest or arid forest found in Rajasthan and adjoining areas of Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab and rain shadow areas of Peninsula. This is the characteristics and the climatic conditions. After this, now we have the soils in India. Soil is a valuable resource of India. Much of the Indian agriculture depends upon the extent and the qualities of soils that we have. Weathering prepares loose materials on the surface of the earth and mix with decayed organic matters and thus the soil forms. Nature of soil in a place is largely influenced by the factors like the climate, natural vegetation and the rocks. If we talk about the major types of soil, first is alluvial soil found in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand. Composition, rich in potash and lime but deficient in nitrogen and phosphoric acid. Growing crops, large variety of Rabi and Kharif such as wheat, rice, sugarcane, cotton, jute, etc. Black or Ragur soil. Deccan Plateau, valley of Krishna and Godavari, rich in iron, lime, aluminium, magnesium, calcium, but lacks in nitrogen, phosphorus and humus. Growing crops are cotton, sugarcane, jowar, tobacco, wheat, rice, etc. Red soil. Eastern part of Deccan Plateau, Tamil Nadu, rich in iron, potash, but deficient in lime, nitrogen, phosphorus and humus. Growing crops are wheat, rice, cotton, sugarcane, pulses, etc. Laterite soil. Summits of eastern and western Ghats, Assam hills, rich in iron but poor in silica, lime, phosphorus, potash and humus. Growing crops are tea, coffee, rubber, cashew, millets, etc. Desert soil found in western and northwestern India, Rajasthan, North Gujarat and southern Punjab. Rich in soluble soils, deficient in organic matter. Generally, growing crops are lime, millets, barley, cotton, maize, pulses, etc. Mountainous soils found in hills of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Assam hills. Rich in iron, humus, but deficient in lime. With fertilizers, tea, fruit, and medical plant can be grown over here. Thereafter, saline and alkaline soil, drier parts of Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra. Many soils such as sodium, magnesium, and calcium found here. This is unfit for agriculture because of high salinity. PT and marshy, found in Kerala and the coastal regions of Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and Sundarbans of West Bengal. Contain large amount of soluble soils and organic matter, but lack in potash and phosphates. Growing crops are rice and jute cultivation. Thereafter, if we talk about the biodiversity of India, so India is a mega biodiverse nation, and this is having 10 of the world's famous species. Hosts 3 biodiversity hotspots like the Western Ghats, Himalayas, and the Indo-Burma region. If we talk about the sanctuaries and national parks which are specific to animals, first is Rann of Kutch Wildlife Sanctuary, Gujarat for wildlife, Kaziranga National Park, Assam for one-horned rhinos, Periyar National Park, Kerala for elephants, Gir National Park, Gujarat for lions, Gati Gaon Sanctuary, Madhya Pradesh for Great Indian Bustard, Sundarbans National Park, West Bengal for Royal Bengal Tiger, Gary Mata Turtle Sanctuary, Odisha for Olive Ridley Turtle, Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary, Bhagalpur, Bihar for dolphins, Ramdevara Vulture Sanctuary, Karnataka for vulture, Darauji Bear Sanctuary, Hampi, Karnataka for bear, Kubal Lamza National Park, Loktak Lake, Bishnupur for Shanghai, Shri Lankesh Malleshwara Wildlife Sanctuary, Andhra Pradesh for Jadon Corsair, National Chambal Sanctuary, Uttar Pradesh for Gadihal. Thereafter, this is the list of biosphere reserve. Great Rann of Kutch, Gujarat, wildest this. Gulf of Mannar, Tamil Nadu, Dangao Sea Cow, this. Sundarbans, West Bengal, Royal Bengal Tiger. Cold Desert, Himachal Pradesh, Snow Leopard. Nanda Devi, Uttarakhand. Nilgiri, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka for loyalty and Makyo. Dibang Diang, Arunachal Pradesh. Panchmadi, Madhya Pradesh, Squirrel Flying Squirrel. Sechalam Hills, Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Simlipal, Odisha for Gaur or Royal Bengal Tiger. Anchkambar, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Manas, Assam for Golden Langur and Red Panda. Kanchazunga, Sikkim for Snow Leopard and Red Panda. Agastyamalai, Kerala for Nilgiri Tahar elephants. Great Nicobar, Andaman Nicobar for saltwater crocodile. Nograk, Meghalaya for Red Panda. Dibru Saikova, Assam for Golden Langur. Panna, Madhya Pradesh for tiger, chital and bear. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished the first part. In the next lecture we will start with the second part. Till then, just revise the facts and figures and thank you.